Set. Go. Welcome, everyone. Hi, I'm Raul, and that is Daisy. Welcome to Failing with Style. Did I say it right?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I told you we were going to do this intro later, but I guess we can do it now.
Oh, wait. No, but this is like
well, just to start it? All right.
Oh, we're already failing. We're already messing everything up.
I'm not used to this. This is another one of my failures because I've never been in a podcast or a host. So I just follow your cue, but you've never even trained me on this shit. I'm just trying to wing it here now.
Because, can I tell you something? I do this with every podcast I've ever been. Because you always want to record, natural, conversation and stuff like that. Yeah. So you kind of try to catch the person off guard a little bit. In the other podcasts I do, I'll be like a minute and a half in before I actually start. And I was like, "Oh, welcome!" And everyone's like, "Jesus Christ!"
Well, we're here to talk about failures, embarrassments, and downhill slopes that we face as we transition from healthcare providers to entertainment professionals.
Wow, that was so natural.
See? I can do it. Is it? I don't know, man. I gotta work on that.
You're good.
I have to
Daisy,
say,
working.
I have to say that.
Yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Where can our listeners find you? Where can they find your social media?
Yeah. I'm on Instagram right now, so I'm at Daisy Artistica. So that's DaisYartistica. I have to spell my name out because sometimes people get it wrong. And then I'm also on LinkedIn. Just find me there and hire me. Thanks.
You can find me at RDHITO87, RDHITO87 on all social media. So talk to me. What's going on?
So I've been having a lot of failures. And I think I'll talk about my most recent one, because I literally left everything to the last minute and it sort of just crept up on me. It's not to say that I wasn't being productive, because I definitely was, but I didn't know how to manage my time. And it bit me in the ass. So that's where I'm at.
What was it? Can we get into that or no?
Yeah, we can dive in. I was just expecting you to ask me some questions.
I just did. What happened? I mean, don't get me wrong. I have horrible time skills, clearly.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, well, so I'm in this figure drawing class, and I have to do 10 figure drawings, and they were due, I believe, February 28th. But they gave me this assignments from the beginning of class. They're like, hey, everything is on, Canvas, which is the digital platform they use to grade. It's like, everything's on Canvas, all the assignments are there, so just make sure you follow it. Like, yeah, okay, I got enough time, because this is, January. And then, I think, 2 weeks ago, I realized that February 28th was coming up, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to do my 10 fucking drawings. And they're not just, easy drawings. It's, figure drawing, where you need to, lay out your composition, make sure your shapes are in place, and then, get all the nooks and crannies, and then all the shading, which I'm not good at, or was not good at. I definitely learned. But it was, a boot camp of 10 days, because I'm I literally need to make one of these drawings every single day. So, I mean, positives and negatives, right? Because I posted, 10 of those drawings over the week. And so I was like, okay, well, maybe I can gain a following like this. But it was very stressful. Because I'm running on this, first of all, this is, 8-hour drawings, because I'm new to it. So everything takes a long-ass time. By the time I was about to submit, I was, dying. I feel like I need to go to, physical therapy or get a massage or something, because... Eric will see, Eric's my husband, he'll see me, just in the kitchen, just with, a dead look on my face. He's like, don't worry, you're gonna get through this, you're almost there. So, yeah, that was my biggest failure, but I think I definitely learned from that because I realized that I need to manage my time better. And I'm still learning kind of how to do that. So, that was my big failure.
It's really tough, but when I started, not my comedy, but like when I started booking shows and having to get booked on shows, it was the first time ever in my life, and I know it sounds ridiculous. I've gone to college, I graduated, I've been working jobs. It was the first time I started using the actual calendar on my phone, like legitimately. Like I use it so, like I even do it for like dinner dates with my family. I do it for now. Like I request all the time now, like please send me a calendar invite because I'm gonna just overbook myself. It's a problem I have so bad is that I will overbook myself. I want to say yes to everything. It's because of my nature. I want to say yes to every booking, to every show. The problem is then I'll have like 2 or 3 shows I have to do in one night. And then like somewhere in the same time or hosting one and I'm hosting another. So it's one of the hardest things I had to learn was time management. Not only for that, but like also like part of comedy, like one of the best parts of comedy, the most addicting part is the hang, I call it. Where basically all the comedians are outside the venue and we're just shooting the shit. We're just talking to each other. We're venting. We're like bouncing bits off each other. I love that part. It's my favorite part. Every comedian will tell you the same thing. It's the best part of comedy. But I can't stay out until like 1:30 or 2 o'clock in the morning anymore. It was actually, I was gaining weight like crazy because I would stay out late and then I would go hang out with one of my boys at like Flanagan's, which Colorado, you'll find out about Flanagan's soon. And I would get like just really like bloated and it was not good for me. It's hard. It's really hard. What are you doing to work on that? Like, what do you feel like is going to help you with that?
You know, I think the difficult part of it is that it's such a big time frame. You know, like I got the assignment in January and then I have to turn it in like in 2 months. So I think it's just like planning ahead of time, but that's so ahead of time, you know? I mean,
yeah.
So I think it's just like really looking through the syllabus, I guess, and planning it out accordingly. Because you know, it's not just that I had like so many other things on my plate that kind of like, I just figured, oh yeah, I have time for that. And I didn't even think about it. And then it crept up on me, you know. But I was working on other things, like other assignments for other classes. And then like work in the middle of it all and just like trying to maintain a house, you know. So probably just like writing everything out. But I would say for you, like, if you're staying out at 2 a.m, that's hard, man. As you grow older, like your body's not gonna want to agree with
so
you anymore.
It's so rough that it's really, it wasn't affecting my work, but what it was affecting was like my family time. And like, yeah. I still, like, full disclosure, and you can call us a failure or whatever, I don't give a shit. Still live with my parents. But
you're Hispanic, it's not a failure.
I mean, I'm an adult as well.
It's what you're supposed to be doing until you get married.
So I will stay out, and then, like, let's say I'll have my family's dogs over my house, and I'm coming home at 2 o'clock in the morning. It sets off all the dogs. They all get excited. I'll start barking like crazy. Wakes up my whole family. And then I feel like I've actually lost about 10 to 15 pounds recently because just that I haven't been eating like crap lately and I haven't been staying out late until 12 anymore, like past 12. I've given myself like a hard cutoff. Like at 11:30, I should be already heading home. I can't be staying out until God knows when, you know?
Yeah. So then, like, so you miss that fun time then that you get to hang out with everyone, right?
You gotta sacrifice some stuff.
Yeah.
It's the hardest part. Is learning what you can say yes to and learning what you can say no to, what you have to say no to, unfortunately.
Yeah. I think it'd probably be good, like, over the weekend to just plan something since you can't make it to those things. Like, maybe make something so that it's good for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then, yeah.
Making time for the nice things, like your family time. That's another thing. Like, you have to make sure you not only make time for your responsibilities, but make time for the fun stuff, like for resting, especially when you have such a busy schedule. Because I find that too, like, I run into all this job that I'm doing, like, I love doing it, but then I'm like, wow, I haven't even, like, talked to Eric today. Like, I haven't even seen my friend in, like 2 months, 3 months, you know?
So routine I had to develop, especially lately. I have shows that start right after I clock out work, like an hour and a half right after, where I have to set up and get everything ready. So I literally change at work, and I'm into like my comedy uniform. And then while I'm driving to the venue, that's when I prioritize that time. I don't listen to podcasts or anything. I call my mom. I call my brother. I call anyone I need to call, like during that time. Like, hey, I'm alive. Hey, like, I try to, like, do, because if I don't, it actually happened to me last night. My mom, I told her I finished the show, and I'll be heading home kind of soon. And then while I was driving home, another guy called me, hey, come to this venue, come hang out. I was like, okay, I'll come hang out. Didn't alert my mom. So she's expecting me. She stays. I hate my mom does this. She's a classic Hispanic mom. She stays up and waits for me to, like, greet me, and I'm out until like 11ish, and I get a call from my mom, and I'm like, oh my god, I totally forgot to do this thing. Small thing, but it does matter. Like, yeah, it's really hard, but like adulting sucks.
Yeah, like, when did this happen to us?
Oh my god.
It's definitely juggling a lot of things, but it's okay. We're figuring it out. I mean, I feel like I don't think anyone has it figured out, you know? I think it's just, like, making sure you're always going to slip up, but as long as you know that that's happening, and knowing how to fix it, I think that's just the best way to get out of that, like, cycle.
Yeah. You know, it's a stupid thought that I've had recently that involves this. I watch, like, celebrities like The Rock or, like, I don't know, Adele, or just any of these celebrities that you see that they're, like, in multiple places in one day or 2 days. I'm like, how is that possible?
Well, because they probably have an assistant, Raul. That's what we need.
Man,
You make that much money and someone's planning it for you and you just follow along. That's the goal, right? Like, that's where you want to land one day. So you don't have to do all this shit yourself.
Oh, my God. Maybe.
I need an assistant. I need an assistant to plan my things, and I need an assistant to help me with the computer. Let's talk about your failure.
Oh, here we go. This is a prime failure. So, listeners, you may think this is episode 1. This is not episode 1.
This is new and improved episode 1.
This is new and improved episode 1. So, we did an episode before, or we tried to record an episode before this, and I thought I had it all figured out. How I was going to do the screen recording, how I was going to do the audio recording, everything. And then I sat on the raw footage of the podcast for a bit. Because I was running between shows, I was doing work, I was with my family, whatever. I remember I scheduled the day for myself. I was like, this Saturday, I'm going to finish working on this podcast, and I'm going to jump right into this and just get this down quick. I even did side-by-side views. I was so proud of myself. I figured out how to do side-by-side panels. I was like, this is going to be an awesome podcast. And then I uploaded into the video editor I use. The video editor I use usually shows a bar for the sound waves, like the sound, the audio clips. And it takes sometimes a while to render it, to show up that, the audio's there. So I'm looking at it, I'm like, man, this audio file is taking really long to come in. It's just staying blank. And that, like, 5 minutes pass, I'm like, this is not good. I feel like, you ever feel like something is wrong immediately?
Yeah, your heart sinks. You, like, feel all flushed.
So I press play, and there's, like, nothing coming out. There's no sound coming out. And I'm like, there has to be a separate audio file. I started looking through my whole computer.
You're looking for this invisible file.
I was looking for this possible file, like homework, like when you forgot homework in school. And oh my god, the worst was like calling you about, texting me about it.
I was gonna tell you that. Like, when I got your text message, I was like, what does he think I'm gonna do? Like, bite his head off? Like, what was your feeling? What were you feeling at that time?
It was like I failed a friend, you know? It was like I failed a friend type of deal, you know? And, like, I was like, fuck. And, because I felt like I was very confident, and I was like, and to have, like, crap, pretty much. It's just us. It's just me and you, like, just, like, talking. And I'm like, and I was thinking, like, maybe at one point I was gonna look up, like, lip reading, like, voice to audio translation.
Oh my god, you were gonna hire a voice actor. You're like, let me not even tell Daisy.
Like, just launch it. I felt so freaking bad about it, because it was an hour. Like, I understand this. I mean, and again, we're talking about time. Like, taking time out just to record each other and just have this podcast is very difficult for both of us. Not very difficult. Let me reuse my words here. It is a task in itself. So, like, to feel like that all went for naught, like it went for poop, it really bugged me. It really bummed me out. So then I've been doing, like, deep dives. I've been to give you a little thing. I've been practicing doing these recordings with my mom.
Have you?
Yeah.
Well, look at you. Now you're, like, making sure you're preparing yourself so you don't end up in this anymore. So you're learning. I feel like it's forced, too. I mean, there's two ways to go about it. Like, either you're forced into learning these things, you know, like, aprendes a los coñazos. Yes. Yes. But sometimes you gotta go through these dips to come out a little stronger. So you prepared, right? You recorded with your mom.
Recorded with my mom. That's how I learned, like, for full transparency, like, Daisy's recording her audio on her side while I'm recording my audio on my side now. So,
yeah, hopefully I'm recording, because this is the first time I'm trying it.
Well, I mean, it should come out okay. So there's, again, these little things I'm learning about just our video editing and stuff like that. It's crazy. Like, it makes me appreciate, like, early YouTubers and, like, people who were, like, really getting in the beginning, because it's so much, and that's that these programs are so much more efficient and user friendly now. Like, back in the day, all this stuff was really difficult and really have to figure out on your own. So, but I have gotten faster. I've gotten better at that, and that's something that's made me better. And I think that, I mean, when we were discussing failure, like, definitely, I hate saying this, and I wish I wasn't like this, but the way I do learn is by fucking up, for lack of a better term.
Well, I mean,
it's the ultimate way I learn.
Do you feel like you fear that, though? Or you just roll with the punches?
I used to fear it. I used to fear it, and then, honestly, like, public speaking, and then comedy has made me, like, just, you gotta go. You gotta do it. You're gonna trip. You're gonna fall along the way. Do I wish I was better prepared? A lot of time, hell yes. I always wish I was better prepared. But, like, ultimately, you're gonna learn. You're gonna become more efficient, and you're gonna learn the potholes of life. I hate being cliche, but it does help me. It does help me in the way. I mean, one of the best sayings I heard recently it was one of my coworkers talking about her raising her kids and how her kid that ultimately she had to realize her kids were going to learn the hard way, pretty much learn through the difficulties of life. And she was trying to explain this to her child. She was like, you can either learn from me, who cares so much about you, loves you unconditionally, and will give everything of my life to you, or you can learn from life, and life doesn't give a shit about you. So who are you going to choose to learn from?
Well, you can do both, right?
Yeah. Well, it's made me appreciate, man, the older I get, man, I'm such a cliche in every way now. Like, I appreciate older people's advice now so much more than I used to when I was a kid. And I know it's a dumb thing, and no person under 25 is going to listen to what I'm about to say right now. But listen to your elders. Your elders are lived experiences. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you want to add that.
Yeah, well, that's definitely something I feel that our culture doesn't take advantage of. Like, it's kind of like they just dismiss the elders, right? And it's kind of like, oh, they're getting older, they need to go to a nursing home, and then, like, no one speaks to them, and they're all just, like, in a nursing home talking to each other. But I really do wish, I know that in Latin America, I think it's more, you respect your elders a little more. And I know I'm blanketing that, like, I know that everyone's not like that, but I mean, you see it in our culture that everyone listens to abuela or abuelo, like, because you know that they have a lot to offer, and then you care for them. It's like a two-way street. Like, I'm gonna listen to your words of wisdom, and then I'll take care of you. I don't know. I think it's something that should be embedded more in our American culture. I mean, I am American, but like, I just see it. I see the difference, and I think it's just important to remember that they've gone through shit, and they know,
Yeah. I didn't ask. I said that I learned pretty much through, like, just running into walls my whole life. But how do you feel like you learn? How do you feel like you learn?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I have a bit of a different experience because my dad, he was really wise. So growing up, like, I always listened to him. I was a good girl, like, I always wanted to be right by him, and I knew he had a way of talking that affected you because he pretty much talked in stories. So, like, he'd be like, don't do this because this and this and this happened to me. And so listening to that, like, oh, shit, maybe he knows some stuff, It's not just like a blanketed, like, hey, don't do that. It's like, don't do that because when I did that, like, I had to learn, and I just don't want that to happen to you. And so I mean, I've always been good at listening to that. But then also when I got into my teenage years, there's just something inside us humans that just wants to, like, break out free, like, like, I don't care what my dad says. I'm gonna just do whatever I want. He thinks it's dangerous. I don't think it is. And then you're, like, being reckless, right? And just, like, messing everything up. And then it hurts because, like, for example, I had my dad. It's like he has, like, this really good intuition about men. And I had one of my ex-boyfriends come over, and like, to meet him, because I always wanted to be right by my dad. So I was like, oh, meet this guy or whatever. And he was, like, 2 years older than me. I was a sophomore. He was a senior. And instantly my dad was like, I don't like that guy. Don't ever bring that guy around anymore. And looking back in hindsight, I was like, oh my gosh, he was totally right. I could have saved myself, from all of these
years.
Yeah, because he like, that guy, like, messed me up. I mean, he cheated on me. Like, he just wanted to get in my pants. Like, this was not a good boyfriend, or, like, the whole time that he was with me, he just was cheating on me. And I was like, man, and after like that whole experience, it was a fucking shitty experience. I'm like, I should have just listened to my dad. Like, he knows. You know?
It's like, I think we all think that our parents are like, I don't want to say lame, but they're going to be protective more than they are loving. Mm-hmm. I think that's what we think, but really it is in the same avenue. Like, they're both as loving and being protective. It's like, hey, you don't want you date a shitty spouse or a shitty person mm-hmm. because they see it. It's funnier. The older I get, I'm able to clearly spot out things in people. Mm-hmm. Like, I know this might be stereotyping or profiling, whatever. I don't care. I don't care. But I'm able to clearly spot out. So at some venues, when I do a show, I'll see a group of guys walking. I'll be like, "That's a bachelor party." Yeah. Like, immediately, that's a bachelor party. And I can tell they don't have to wear anything. I know that's a bachelor party. This is a lady celebrating her birthday. Or I can and it's taught me, like, the older I get, the better I am at reading audiences and reading people in general. Like, I know when, like, someone's talking to me and they're looking for me to get something. Now, I don't do a lot of fluff anymore in conversations. Now I'm like, okay, tell me what you want. Tell me exactly what
let's get straight to the point. What are you trying to sell me here?
Exactly.
Cut the BS.
Cut the BS. I don't do BS anymore. I don't do fluff anymore. I'm very lean meat on everything now in my conversation. Oh man, I had the same experience with it. My mom. It was my first serious girlfriend. Oh, by the way, you want to talk about failures? 3 failed engagements, okay? We'll talk about that one day. The first girl I was engaged to, my mother despised with all, and I never understood it. And now looking back on it, I was like, man, she was so spot on. Mm-hmm. Like, the girl didn't want to have a real job. She didn't know what she wanted to do with her life. She literally just dated me because she wanted to have kids. I'm not saying this for all people who have kids. I'm just saying this girl's line of life, this is what she wanted to do. She wanted to have kids so she can get on welfare and Medicaid. That was literally what she wanted to do in her life.
That was her goal.
That was literally her goal. She accomplished her goal. She doesn't have a job. I check in every once in a while. She does have a job.
You still check in. You're like, is my mom still right about this?
Oh, no, she's totally right about that. My mom saw that out the gate. And it's the more I appreciate other people's lived experiences, because, you know, we all develop prejudices. We all develop, like, these things that we stay away from or we're cautious about. And for reasons. People think that we do it sometimes because, oh, you're just afraid or, oh, you're just ignorant. Like, no, there is something behind this. There's a history behind this that you got to account for. And it's something I think we don't take much appreciation about lately.
So I wanted to ask you one thing before we go, right?
Yes.
You said that you had confronted somebody in the audience. I really want to hear about that.
Oh my God.
Is that a failure or a success?
It's a huge failure. Okay. Entertainers in general, people who are entertaining, your ultimate job is to create an escape from reality for the audience, whoever your audience is. If it's you draw your art, if it's Eric with his video game, if it's me with a joke, like, we're all trying to create a little bit of escapism and try to create a little reprieve from someone who's having a horrible day or someone who's having a rough day at work or something like that. We're all trying to just create a better life for one another in entertainment. So I was at a show recently and there was a drunk lady heckler.
Oh no.
She wasn't heckling nastily. She was just interrupting the show and, like, trying to get up on stage. She was drunk. She was just drunk. And I should have realized that. I should have just let it go. And these are the components to my failure. I am very protective of my family, my friends, and my coworkers. I've realized that. I'm very like, not mama bear, but I'm very like, don't
mama bear, not Papa
like,
Bear.
no, Papa Bear too, whatever. I'm very protective of anyone, even if it's a comedian I don't like, or even if it's a coworker I don't like. If I see that they are being antagonized by someone else, I'm gonna come in and try to be like, hey, you're one of us ultimately, and protect. So this lady she wasn't straight heckling. She was just being antagonistic to two other comedians before me. And then I get like, there's a famous comedian, his name's Matt Bronger, and he calls it Coco, like Coco the gorilla. And he goes, oh, Coco's getting upset now. And that's what happened to me. I turned into a gorilla. I got up on stage, and I think of like the meanest thing I could say to someone sometimes.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, and I just like zeroed it in, because not only do I think about that, I've now gotten really good at finding that one thing that you're really uncomfortable about with yourself, and I'm like, oh yeah, let's bring it out in the air. Let's bring it out in the public.
You're terrible.
So I did that, and she like got quiet. It was not like she didn't get antagonistic. She got quiet. Like I hit like.
Yeah, you hit her
which
core.
The evil part of my mind was like, yes,
I did it.
But then the humanitarian in me was like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? Like, why are you doing this?
Was that necessary?
There's no purpose of doing this. Was that truly necessary? And then I try to recover. I kind of got her back on my side, and I make fun of myself. But it's the problem. And other comedians have told me, like, you can't. As a thing, I tell other comedians this. I can't go up in anger. You can't go up on stage angry. You gotta put that to the side. You gotta remove yourself from that situation, and you gotta make sure that you're as positive as you can be. You gotta be a positive human being. It's so hard, especially considering like the modern age. You get so much news about bad things happening, or bad things happening in anyone's life. Anyone could be having a bad day in an audience. And we should, as a professional clown, you may say, as a artist or anything, our goal should be like to just remove I'm not saying you got to make them happy, but just remove them from their circumstances and try to make their day a little better. Mm-hmm. And it's something I really need. I don't know if it's like an anger management thing. I don't know what it is, but I know I have this problem. I see I have this problem now. So now my goal is I need to really work on it. And I hate saying this, but I need like a day where like an actual heckler or someone else goes up against me.
And see how you handle it. Redeem yourself.
And see how I handle it and redeem myself. So I'm very, man, it was not nice what I said to this girl.
Are you going to say it or no? It's too rated R.
Oh, okay. That's really real. Okay, she was like a lady entering her mid to late 30s, and she clearly got plastic surgery done. Clearly. And I literally, when I went up on stage, I was like, hey, everyone. I was waiting for her to, like, come at me. She came at me. I was like, oh, hey. I already knew her name because every other comedian's interacted with her. I was like, hey, blah, blah, blah. How much did that cost you?
No.
How much did that cost? I want to know. Just want to know. Did it solve the issues you had or no?
Oh, no,
I went like right
in. Did you get laughs or were you like...
No, all the other comedians in the room were like, oh, like they're all... Because they're excited. I finally had shut her up, kind of. But I also was like... You see that it's funny. You see that there's a difference between young comedians and old comedians. Young comedians get excited when you do that. They want you to like crack the heck. Yeah. There's a big thing right now on social media. There's a big thing about clips of comedians like putting down or slamming or destroying a heckler. And when you look at those clips, I want you to see the age of the people in those clips. It's mostly young comedians. Older comedians. And this is a skill, man. This is when you know you're a great comedian, I feel, in my mind. When you're able to turn a heckler not against you, but turn them with you, like make them part of the show, make them happy. There's a great special out right now, actually, on YouTube, if you guys want to check it out. TJ Miller. I don't know if you guys know who TJ Miller is. He was in Deadpool. He's been in a lot of movies. You'll recognize him immediately. He did a special called, I think, Daniel or something like that, or Josh. And that was not supposed to be the name of the special. What happened was, he was shooting a special in New Jersey, and it was going to be a entire different name, entire different project. What happened was, there was a guy in the front of the stage who was kind of being loud and kind of heckly towards TJ Miller. And instead of TJ Miller, again, putting down that guy, he started bringing the guy in and having fun with him, joking around. They were both kind of like shooting back and forth at each other. And then you find out that the guy was like a special needs guy. He was a guy with a disability. And he brings the guy up on stage at the end, and they hug it out, whatever. It was totally unplanned, totally random. And again, he pretty much threw away all this written material, all this year work of a pre-planned special to turn into this, which I think, honestly, is a way prettier and beautiful thing to come out as a comedy special than what he would have had originally. Yeah,
I mean, I feel like that's a higher level of thinking. It's also, I think, probably learning through time that that's probably not the best way. You know, why put somebody down when you're here to make everybody laugh? And it's at somebody's expense. That's never something good. So
exactly.
But I'm glad you learned that, and it seems like you did your research.
Yeah.
So like,
oh my god,
it's
this doesn't mean listeners come straight to a comedy show and start challenging me. Okay, like I
don't know. No, this is the challenge. Everybody go to Raul's show. Make sure you heckle and see what he does.
Heckle the crap. Oh man.
All right, well.
Yeah. So that's what I've learned. I think we're pretty close to the end. Is there any parting words you want to give? Any words of advice you want to give to our audience?
I think the most important thing is just realizing that, you know, taking your ego away from things and not just brushing things off. Like, I failed at this, whatever, it doesn't matter, I'm just going to move on. It's more about, I failed at this, why did I fail? Look into it. And, you know, figure out what you can do better next time. And I think that's what makes us grow, and that's what makes us better. So those are my words of wisdom. Daisy's words of wisdom.
Daisy's words. That should be a segment. Daisy's words of wisdom. Before we go off again, where can the people find you again, Daisy?
So it's at Daisy Artistica. I already spelled it out in the beginning, so I won't do that again. And look me up on LinkedIn, Daisy Veciana, Veciana. I do have to spell that one.
And then, really quick, it was a little bit of a failure because he didn't tell us, but Eric made a video game. You didn't even tell us. We were so excited when we found out about this. What's the name of Eric's video game?
Oh my gosh, he'll kill me.
Oh my god.
I know it's Galaxy Hero. This is another failure. Galaxy Hero. He went through so many names.
Oh, I'm going to look it up right now. Stay on the little phone. Stay on the line. Oh my god, where is it?
He's going to be like, what type of wife are you?
Oh Christ, where is it? There it is. That's not it.
Please tell me I'm right. Look, I found it. Galaxy Hero by E Lobo Games.
Galaxy Heroes.
Damn, I got it. Galaxy Hero.
Boom, there you go. Go download it, guys. Have fun. Oh my god. Alright. And again, you can find me and all my comedy at RDHITO87. Thank you so much, guys.
Alright, bye.
Au revoir. Bye-bye.